Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam bhagavata-sevayā Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki Durlabho Manusho Deho Dehinam Shana Bhangure Tatrapi Durlabham Manye Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Kṛṣṇa Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Namaha Pankajanabhaya Namaha Pankajamalini Namaha Pankajanitraya Namaste Pankajamani Vande Guru Nisha Bhakta Nisha Nisha Avatarakan Tat Prakasham Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sanyakam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much, dear worshipable devotees, for taking out your valuable time to read here Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam together. So we'll start. Today we'll cover we have been reading about Mata Ganga. So we'll discuss in more details about this Mata Ganga and the glories of Mata Ganga. So we're reading Canto 5, chapter number 9, and we read till text number 13 yesterday. Okay. So there were some questions also about how Janu Muni actually, and I was hearing from Bhakti Maharaj that basically Janu Muni was present doing tapasya, and then Ganga basically was washed away the ashram. And Bhagirath Maharaj was up front in the chariot. And then by his mystical powers, he drank the whole Ganga water. And then from his ear came Ganga. So actually Ganga is also called Jahnavi. Ganga is also called Bhagirathi Ganga. So let's start our discussion, but we'll start with this verse. Daru jala rupe Krishna prakata samprati darshana snanena kare jivera mukhati. Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta Madhya 15:134. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu said, in this age of Kali, Krishna is manifest in two forms, wood and water. Thus, by enabling the conditioned souls to see the wood and bathe in the water, he helps them become liberated. So it's kind of Krishna's arrangement to help us become transcendental by taking darshan of daru. Daru is not the alcohol. Daru is the Daru Brahman, the Jagannath. And Jala is the Ganga water. So when people take bath in the Ganga water and take darshan of deities, what happens? They will become liberated. In short, they will attain spiritual progress. So we'll start with the 14th verse. Yes, Avni, you want to read? Today you have other heavenly planets, other devotees from other heavenly planets also coming to your place to read.
Hare Kṛṣṇa. Nahe etat param ashcharyam svardhunyayad ihoditam ananta charanam bhoja prashutaya bhava chiddaha. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Because Mother Ganga emanates from the lotus toe of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Anantadeva, she is able to liberate one from material bondage. Therefore, whatever is described herewith is about her and not at all wonderful. Purport. It has actually been seen that anyone who regularly worships Mother Ganga simply by bathing in her water keeps very good health and gradually becomes a devotee of the Lord. This is the effect of bathing in the water of the Ganga. Bathing in the Ganga is recommended in all Vedic Shastras, and one who takes to this path will certainly be completely freed from all sinful reactions. The practical example of this is that the sons of Maharaj Sagar went to the heavenly planets when the water from the Ganga merely touched the ashes of their burnt bodies. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So this is the indirect mercy of the Lord. People are so absorbed in sense gratification, other things, right? They don't want to take shelter of the Lord. But Lord says, okay, I will descend in the liquid form. And people like to swim in the water, and then they'll go hang out in the water. So this is what Nyaya? Kim Utaya Nyaya. Even if someone does not know the benefit of taking bath in the Ganga water, the one will get benefit. What to speak of one goes with awe and reverence and respect and offers, some lamp to Ganga water. You may have seen, right? In Haridwar, they do Ganga Aarti, Yamuna Aarti, in Vrindavan, they do. We can offer lamps to Ganga, we can offer some flowers, because it's not different actually. It's an expansion of the Supreme Lord. And actually I was hearing about Ganga Mata's identity. So in Goloka Vrindavan, Ganga Mata is Varha Prema Manjari. Varha Prema Manjari. She is the expansion of Radharani. You may have seen the Ganga deity also. In there, she has 4 arms, right? In the 2 upper arms, she's carrying a lotus and a pot. You've seen that Ganga deity? It's a picture. And in the 2 lower arms, let me show this here, wonderful picture. Yeah, this is a good picture. I'll share it with you right now so we can all see. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Rāma, Hare Rāma. It's Ganga Mata. The 2 arms, one is carrying lotus and pot. In the 2 arms, she is doing 2 mudras. This mudra is called Varada Mudra. And the one is the Abhay Mudra. Abhay means she gives fearlessness. And Varada Mudra, she is giving blessings. Vardhan. And the crocodile is also a white crocodile called Makra. We do Makrasana. So basically, one who remembers Ganga, one who takes bath in the Ganga, will not be in the grip of the crocodile of death, birth and death like Gajendra. One will go back home, back to Godhead. This is Ganga Devi. She's the expansion of Radharani actually. In Chaitanya Leela, she is Ganga Mata Goswami, the daughter of Nityaam Prabhu, as per Gaur Ganodesha Deepika. So she is also in the Dwarka Leela, one of the queens of Krishna named Mitravinda. In the Dwarka Leela, Yamuna Devi, Yamuna is who? Anyone knows? Which queen?
Kalandi.
Kalandi, yes. Very nice. She's also the elder, Ganga Mata is also the elder sister of Uma, the daughter of Himalayas. So in short, wonderful identity has been mentioned. And one who takes bath, knowingly, unknowingly, will get benefit. Let's read the next verse. Yes, Vipul Prabhu, you want to read?
Shibuji, Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees, Dandavat Pranam, all goes to Śrīla Prabhupada, text 15. Shunnibesho mano rasmin sadhyaha muno malaha trigunna dusta ajam hitta sadyo yatastat atmatam. Translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Great sages, completely freed from material lusty desires, devote their minds fully to the service of the Lord. Such persons are liberated from material bondage without difficulty, and they become transcendentally situated according to the spiritual quality of the Lord. This is the glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I actually lost. Who is telling this verse?
That's a great question, Prabhu. Shukdev Goswami is speaking here the glories of Ganga Mata. Let's double check. Yeah, the first concern and Bhagirath replying. So Bhagirath is replying, but Shukdev Goswami is actually narrating this whole thing. In multiple places, Bhagavatam is story within the story. So Bhagirath was replying to the concerns of Ganga Mata. But that piece was done, and at a later point, Shukdev Goswami continues to explain about the glories. Shri Bhagirata Vacha, we read in text number 6. It's a story within the story. So such people, who are such persons here?
Prabhuji, those who take shelter of Ganga Mata?
Yes. The great sages, we're talking about Ganga Mata also, completely freed from material lusty desires, devote their minds fully to the service of the Lord. Such people. Basically, Ganga Mata is in one way non-different from the Lord, like the expansion of Radharani. And Ganga Mata helps in spiritual progress. We discuss this example here. And one will be spiritually liberated even just by taking bath. It's a very good way. Some people may not be very inclined to follow direct bhakti process. And we should do these indirect things. Some people say, my husband does not want to practice, my kids don't want to practice, or my parents don't want. They say, okay, let's go to Haridwar. We'll have a nice time. We'll take some prasad. We'll take bath in Ganga. And they may not mind that, right? Rather than going to some ordinary pool, will not give that spiritual benefit. There are a lot of rivers around the world. It's not that same as taking bath in Ganga. The water, at a material level, it may appear to be the same. At a material level, the food in a restaurant and the food in a temple may appear to be the same, like a sabji or roti on a material level. But at a transcendental level, it's much different. So these are like indirect ways Krishna is arranging to help us. Let's read one very nice verse. The verse is quite long here in Canto 5, chapter 17, text 1. But let's read the translation of this verse. Someone like to read? Navya, Mataji, want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. The Dev Goswami said, "My dear King, Lord Vishnu, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, appeared as Vamandev in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj. Then he extended his left foot to the end of the universe and pierced the hole and in its covering with the nail of his big toe. Through the hole, the pure water of the causal ocean entered their universe as the Ganges River. Having washed the lotus feet of the Lord, which are covered with reddish powder, the water of Gangas acquired a very beautiful pink color. Every living being can immediately purify his mind of material contamination by touching the transcendental waters of the Ganga, yet its water remains ever pure, because the Gangas directly touches the lotus feet of the Lord before descending within this universe. She is known as Vishnu Padi. Later, she received other names like Javani, Bhagirati. After 1,000 millenniums, the water of Gangas descended to Dhuvaloka, the topmost planet in this universe. Therefore, all learned sages and scholars proclaim Dhuvaloka to be Vishnupad, situated on Vishnu's lotus feet. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, a lot of extra wonderful information about the descent of Mata Ganga. So, we were discussing this yesterday also, right? So, when Vamandev with his left foot covered the second step, the water from the causal ocean or Viraja river, Karunadakshai Sagar, it was just a minor kind of crack, but that minor was very big for the people of the heavenly planets, right? How can we understand this? Very simple. But let me share a picture before because it's easy to understand with the picture. So this is the universe. The layers were pierced and the water from the Karna ocean started to pour. It was on the head of Lord Shiva for 1,000 millenniums. It didn't just, directly came to earth. There were multiple stages it passed through, which is a very big topic in itself. The point is that a few drops of, what's a palm full of water for us? Nothing, right? Will anyone drown in palm full of water? What do you think? No. But for that ant, if a few ants are there and you kind of throw palm full of water, it's a natural disaster for them, isn't it? It's floods. What do you think? Isn't it? Similarly, those drops of water from that was very, very huge, Ganga, for the people. So that's how we can, because it's just one universe you're talking about. Karunadakshai Sagar, Karunadakshai Vishnu is lying in unlimited, like universes are coming from his transcendental body with every exhalation. So you cannot fathom the size actually, right? All these planets which are situated on the tip of Ananta Shesha. Most of you draw these models and now you're very, very familiar with this. which is very good. Amazing model. All the kids draw like amazing Goloka model, material world model, extraordinary. So in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is said that those universes are like a mustard seed on Nandashesha. Mustard seed, have you seen? Very tiny. Maybe on your palm you can hold like 1,000 mustard seeds or 100 mustard seeds. So Anantashesha is holding like those. And there are so these planets, these material worlds are like so big. So the point is just to give some understanding of the size we're talking about. So that's Ganga Mata. And then after that, she comes to where? Dhruvaloka, which is even higher than the Brahmaloka, which is spiritual world in material world. So it is spiritual world in the material world. And then the Ganga Mata is also carrying the pink color. How does she carry the pink color? Navya's flower. Where does she get the pink color?
From the red powder on the lotus feet of the Lord.
Yes, we just read that. Very nice. From the red powder. Sometimes you may have seen in the temple, Krishna's feet the soles are painted red. In the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is also explained that when a devotee is speaking Bhagavatam Katha, there is a red kumkum, which particles, the saffron particles, spread over to the audience. Basically mercy. And pure devotees speak Bhagavatam. So the reddish powder covering the Lord's feet. So now next time you go to see the deities, you try to notice that reddish. Then we can meditate upon it. So each and every limb is so transcendental. We can meditate upon it and think about, oh, that's how Mata Ganga got the pink color. So Vishnupadi, because coming from Lord Vishnu. And then Dhruva keeps Ganga Mata or honors Ganga Mata, holding the Ganga Jal on his head. Then it goes to Saptarishi, through transcendental spiritual planes. It's transported to different parts, to Saptarishis, and then to other planets, and etc. It's a long journey. So that's Ganga Mata's glory. Okay, we'll move on. If anyone has any comments or additions. Okay, text number 16 and 17. Okay, Medhi, go ahead.
Shruto bhagirathajne tasya navo paro bhavat sindhu dvipastatas tasmad ayutayustato bhavat ritu parno nalasakho yosva vidyam ayannalat datvak vaksha hridayam chashme sarva kamastu tatsutam. Translation. Bhagirath had a son named Shruta, whose son was Nabha. The son was different from the Nabha previously described. Nabha had a son named Sindhu-Dvip. From Sindhu-Dvip came Ayutayu, and from Ayutayu came Rituparna, who became a friend of Nalraj. Rituparna taught Nalraj the art of gambling, and Nalraj gave Rituparna lessons in controlling and maintaining horses. The son of Rituparna was Sarvakam. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gambling is also an art. Kshatriyas are allowed to exhibit talent in this art of gambling. By the grace of Krishna, the Pandavas lost everything by gambling and were deprived of their kingdom, wife, family, and home because they were not expert in the gambling art. In other words, a devotee may not be expert in materialistic activities. It is therefore advised in the Shastra that materialistic activities are not at all suitable for the living entities, especially devotees. A devotee should therefore be satisfied to eat whatever is sent as prasad by the Supreme Lord. A devotee remains pure because they do not take to sinful activities such as gambling, intoxication, meat eating, and illicit sex. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, back to you.
Thank you so much. Your pronunciation of verse is very good. Thank you. So here now the dynasty continues. That's the title of this chapter, Dynasty of Aṁśumān. So there was a pause at Bhagirath. We have seen that theme multiple times when there is an important incident. So Bhagirath's involvement in bringing Ganga was is great. If it would not have been for him, then we would have not have been fortunate enough to take bath in the Ganga. So we are very blessed. So coming back, there is multiple people here, Shruta, Nabha, Sindhudvipa, etc. Not going and repeating the names, but the lesson here is important. The devotee may not be expert in materialistic activities, which is fine, especially things which are not conducive to bhakti. If it is conducive to bhakti, we should try to learn to the best of our abilities, like anything which will help the Krishna conscious society, which will help our services. Gambling, no. It's not that Pandavas could not learn. Were they less talented? Were they like the last of the batch? No. Arjuna was the world-class warrior, and he used it for Krishna's service. And so they were very talented people. It's not that, but it's a nice lesson that Shakuni was very talented in gambling. Kapat. Gambling is basically kapat, to cheat. Dyut krida. But looks like Pandavas did not prioritize to learn that. So devotees don't prioritize to learn which is not conducive for bhakti. Right? Devotees prioritize what is conducive to learn. Even if it is our job, that's fine. If it is a skill in the job or our studies, we should do it to the best of our abilities and do it nicely, because it is a seva to Krishna. If we get bad grades, then people will say, well, don't practice bhakti, because if you start practicing bhakti, then you'll start getting bad grades. Or if we are lethargic in our job, and then people will say, well, he goes to the temple, that's why he's lethargic. So we should do always be a good example so that it inspires people to take to the path and take to the Krishna conscious lifestyle. So simple living, high thinking. Again, mention of the 4 regulative principles, which we have discussed multiple times. So gambling, no intoxication, no meat eating, no illicit sex. So, and there are subtle meanings also. Who remembers the subtler meanings? What does it mean by no gambling? What pillar of dharma it breaks? So
Honesty.
Someone said honesty. That's very good. Let's do a quick exercise here. Gambling, meat eating, then intoxication, then illicit sex.
That's cleanliness.
What are the 4 pillars of dharma? Who knows?
Truthfulness.
Truthfulness or honesty. I think Avani said that. So that's against what?
Like gambling.
Gambling. Okay. Truth. Okay.
Kindness, compassion.
Yeah, kindness, compassion, jivadaya, compassion, or To be kind to others, kindness, Jyodaya, right? I think at this point. So what pillar intoxication breaks?
Austerity.
Austerity. Very nice. What do we call in Sanskrit?
Tapa.
Tapa. Very nice. And illicit sex is
Cleanliness.
cleanliness. Or shucha. So these are the 4 pillars of dharma which are broken by these activities. Now what's the subtler meaning? Well, someone can say, well, I don't gamble, I don't eat meat, I don't do intoxication, I don't do illicit sex, so I'm all set. That's very good. That brings us to the human level. Correct? But what's the deeper meaning? More advanced, anyone knows?
We can gamble about our rounds or our devotional service, like let's do it tomorrow. Let's maybe there I can do it later. Maybe I can do it later, like that. Not really
Very
commit
nice.
to it.
So gambling our spiritual life, gambling our human form of life, right? Thinking, okay, I'll do tomorrow, thinking I have a lot of time, not sincere on the path of bhakti, or what's the urgent need, procrastination, correct? This is all like taking chances, right? Gambling means what? Take a chance. Okay, I'll put $1, maybe I'll get $1 million, right? That's what gambling is, the lottery and stuff. So maybe, okay, maybe in this life, let me enjoy, in the next life, I'll do bhakti. There's also taking chance with this human form of life. So gambling our spiritual life or this human life, and guess next life what will happen? How many people win the lottery? Almost 0.00005. So that's why it's called gambling, taking chances. What about meat eating?
18% sense gratification, eating more than necessary.
Yes, that's correct. But the pillar is here compassion. Compassion basically means not just of the body, but also sometimes like speaking harsh, hurting others, causing harm to others is breaking the principle of compassion. We may not eat meat, but we may speak so harsh. I'm not talking about you, please don't. I'm talking about these principles, which we should be careful. So causing harm by words, by actions, causing harm to others. It may not be killing others. Some people may not kill animals or eat animals, but they may cause so much harm by speaking such harsh words, fault finding, criticism, etc. Then it's worse actually. Then it's worse than killing the animal. Speaking ill of others, causing them mental and emotional distress, etc. What about intoxication?
Pride. Be intoxicated with the pride.
Yes, madon mattana pashyati, intoxication with false pride. Oh, I am better than others. Oh, I am more advanced than others. Oh, I know more shloka than him or her. Oh, I am a better devotee, etc. Or I have more wealth, I have a better job, I have more people working for me, I'm a good manager. All these is like false pride. And then cleanliness, we all know that's internal and external. So subtle sex, seeking glorification, seeking puja labh pratishtha, distinction is basically fame, recognition, prestige. Why did they didn't respect me? I did so much service. That person did less service. They gave him a nice return gift. I gave more donation. They didn't give me anything. distinction, or my name should be called out very specifically because I am a better devotee. This is very not good for bhakti. These are just like, gross way human principles, but in a subtle way, if we want to advance, we should also look into the subtleties of these. So, any comments? Okay, let's read the next one. Yes, Raman Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhu, I'll read. Sorry, Prabhu, I'm not wearing my specs. So, Tadtang Sudha Sarla Putro Damayanti Putra. My sincere apologies, Prabhuji. Sorry.
I want to help you by increasing the size if that helps.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhu. So much better, yeah. Tatat Sudasas Tat Putro Damayanti Patir Nripaha Ahur Mitra Shanshah Yam Vai Kal Mas Sangraham Uta Kavachit Vasistava Sapad Rakshasho Rakso Bahut Anapatya Swa Karmana. Yep, I think I can go to the purport.
A translation, Prabhu?
Yeah. Sarvakama had a son named Sudasa, whose son, known as Saudasa, was the husband of Damayanti. Saudasa is sometimes known as Mitra Saha or Kamal's father. Because of his own misdeed, Mitra Saha was sonless and was cursed by Vashishta to become a man-eater, a Rakshasa. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, thank you so much, Prabhuji. So there's no purport to this verse and quite straightforward about Ritu Parnas, Sarvakama, Sudasa, and Swadasa, and then later he was cursed to become a Rakshasa. Let's see the next verse. It's 19. We didn't get a chance yesterday.
I can read, Prabhu. Danda.
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Thank you. Danda Pranam. Shri Rajo Vacha Kim Nimitto Guru Shapa Saudasasya Mahatmanaha Etat Veditum Michhamaha Kathyantam Naraho Yadi. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Parikshit said, O Shukadeva Goswami, why did Vasishtha, the spiritual master of Saudasa, curse the great soul, that great soul? I wish to know of this. If it is not a confidential matter, please describe it to me. Hari.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So we could prove, I think there are two questions answer. Who is speaking? Yes, it's a conversation going on between Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking this question. When Shukadeva Goswami spoke about the other descendants of Aṁśumān and then Bhagirath. So he's curious to know, but a very nice way, that if it is not a confidential matter, that means if it is fit for me to be known. So, because these are not ordinary people in this ordinary dynasty, this is a Surya Vamsha we are talking about. the Sun Dynasty actually. Lord Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita that he gave this knowledge to Sun God, and then from his son, and then his son, like that, the parampara. So let's see what Shukdev Goswami speaks about this personality, Saudasa, and why he was cursed to become a Rakshasa. Who cursed him to become Rakshasa? Did we read that?
Spiritual Master Vasishtha.
Nice. Thank you. So let's read text number 20 and 21 altogether. Yes, Sudhir Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and Pranam. Hare Krishna, devotees, and Pranam. All praise to Srila Prabhupada. Text number 20 and 21. Shri Sukha Uvacha Saudaso Mrityam Kinche Charan Raksho Chaghanaha Mumucho Bharataram Satho Gata Pratikchit Kriyasya Sanchintyan Aghan Ranjana Sudarupadharo Gre Vive Bhakto Kamya Bhaktva Ninya Nira Misham. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sukadeva Goswami said, once Sadhusha went to live in the forest where he killed a man-eater, Rakshasa, but forgave and released the man-eater's brothers. The brother, however, decided to take revenge, thinking to harm the king. He became the cook of the king's house. One day, the king's spiritual master, Vasishtha Muni, was invited for dinner, and the Rakshasa cook served him human flesh. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So here, I think Sukadeva Goswami is explaining that when Saudasha went to live in the forest, where he killed a man-eater Rakshasa, but forgave and released the man-eater's brother. So that brother, however, decided to take revenge, and now, thinking to harm the king, he became the cook in the king's house and cooked, the Rakshasa cooked. The king's spiritual master, Vasishtha Muni, was invited for the dinner, and the Rakshasa cooked human flesh to him. So please explain, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Is this clear? I think it's quite straightforward. The story. No purport. So let's move. What happened when the Rakshasa's brother cooked flesh for the spiritual master, Vasishtha? Yes, Kirti Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, text 22. Parivekshamanam Bhagavan Vailokya Bhakshamajjasaha Rajannapa Shapat Kruddho Rakshobhovam Bhavishyasi. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. While examining the food given to him, Vasishtha Muni, by his mystic power, could understand that it was unfit to eat, being the flesh of human being. He was very angry at this and immediately cursed Saudasa to become a man-eater. Thank you, Prabhu. Back to you.
Hare Krishna. Quite straightforward. Vasishtha Muni cursed Saudasa that how dare you serve me the flesh of a human being. Okay, let's see. Text 23. Yes, Sampada Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Raksha kritam tad viditva chakre dvadasa varshikam sopi apo Njalim adaya gurum saptum samudyataha varito madayantyapo rusati jaho dishaha kham avanim sarvam pashyan jivamayam nripaha. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Vasishtha understood that the human flesh had been served by the Rakshasa, not by the king, he undertook 12 years of austerity to cleanse himself for having cursed the faultless king. Meanwhile, King Saudasa took water and chanted the Sapa mantra, preparing to curse Vasishtha, but his wife Mother Yanti forbade him to do so. Then the king saw that the 10 directions, the sky and the surface of the globe were full of living entities everywhere. Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhuji, back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So Vasishtha undertook austerity to just cleanse. Because cursing is also, an expression of anger, right? And here it's mentioned that he was faultless. Did he prepare that knowingly? Not really. So he was faultless. Maybe Vasishtha realized it later, but words once spoken and the arrow once released cannot be taken back, right? Therefore, we should be very careful, especially when we are in Dvanda. Dvanda means dualities. It is said that we should not make a decision when we are too happy or too angry, because often that will not be a good decision. When we are angry, vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, it comes with speed, veg. And suddenly we end up speaking, and raise your hand if you have felt that or experienced that. We end up speaking something which we don't intend to, and later we feel that, oh, I should have not spoken that, and it was not a big deal. I could have handled that in a better way, right? We all have experienced that, therefore we are in here. And then when we introspect, so we should always try to learn. Maybe last time I did that, but next time I am in a provoking situation, I will deal it much better. My mind wants to blast something out, but I'll not speak. Maybe I'll go for a walk outside. Maybe I'll just skip this situation and maybe I'll chant 2 rounds. There are multiple ways. And then the point is it comes with a vague. And if you put a speed breaker there, then we will not be so kind of very impulsive about it. You'll handle it much better. So rather than, and that's what is Bhagavata is telling again and again, that we have to control the urges, control the anger, control the mind, intelligence, senses, etc. So otherwise it may be too late. Sometimes we may never get a second chance. And we should always think like that. And of course, we will end up hurting someone, our friend, brother, husband, wife, children, parents, etc. Sometimes life may not give a second chance. So we should always be careful of the words which come in. One nice devotee said this, that bad mood or bad emotional state should not be mixed with bad words. We could be in a bad emotional state, but we should not mix with it with bad words. Or we could be in a bad mood, but okay, then we take our time, try to get back to normal. But if we speak bad words, then bad mood will be restored, but bad words will not be restored, right? Bad emotional state will come back to fine state, maybe in a few hours, or maybe in a few days, or maybe in a few weeks, depends. But the bad words can never be taken back, right? So we should always be careful. So Vasishtha undertook this austerity. Now the king is also about to chant a Shapa mantra. Shap means curse, counter curse. But look at the great wife. The wife was very supportive. And wife can be very supportive to the husband. Husband can be very supportive to the wife. The wife forbade him to do so. Again, words once spoken cannot come out. But if we have a good well-wisher, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, who can help us to avoid that situation, then it's very good. So the king did not counter curse, or somehow he had the wife who helped him to not counter curse, right? Which is a very good thing. Having that special friend who can help us, that you're intelligent, who can help us channelize our intelligence, especially in the time of provoking situation, help us make those good decisions in life, is very, very helpful. And Shastras do explain that in multiple places that a good wife, an intelligent wife, is like that, actually. Because the husband and wife know each other the most, actually, because they live together for years. Others may not know each other so well, but the husband and wife knows the strength and the weakness of each other. So they can be good support at the time, in the good times and the bad times. Okay, let's see what happens further. Anyone who's feeling inspired to read and has not yet read? Moksha Mataji, we feel liberated in your presence. Thank you so much for joining.
No problem. Hare Krishna, all devotees, and pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Text 25. Rakshasam vam bhavamapanna pade kalma shatam gata vyavayakale dadrishya vanau ko dampati dvijo. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Saudasa thus acquired the propensity of a man-eater and received on his leg a black spot, for which he was known as Kalma-sapada. Once King Kalma-sapada saw a Brahmin couple engaged in the sexual intercourse in the forest. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So basically the curse of Vasishtha Muni, and he told that you would become a man-eater, right? And that's what he started to see everywhere, the whole globe full of living entities, and then he also got a black spot. So he will kind of pause here, because then the topic is changing from this verse. So basically we discussed the story of Ganga Mata again, to go back to the Ganga Mata story, how she appeared, what's her identity in the spiritual world, what's her identity in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, from the Gorgon of the Deepika. We discussed multiple pastimes about Ganga Mata. There are 4 items: Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Tulasi, Ganga, and devotees are the direct expansions of Krishna. They are always pure. In Caitanya Bhāgavatam it is mentioned. Those who take bath in the Ganga, they certainly get free from the cycle of birth and death. That's why she has the crocodile makras. giving abhaya and giving the vardhan of bhakti. That's the beauty. So any other quick comments, questions, additions before we pause for today? Okay, so we will, yeah, someone was saying something? Raman Prabhu, you wanted to say something?
No, Prabhu. I do have a question, but I'll ask in tomorrow's class. I just want to firm up my thoughts.
Sure. Thank you. I really appreciate all of you taking so much of your valuable time every day to read and hear Bhagavatam and give your kind association. So thank you so much. And Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrī Ganga Mata ki jai, Śrī Bhagavat Maharaj ki jai, Śrī Prabhupada ki jai, Samaviti Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavabhyo namo namah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.